So, you're going for a J-1 visa. The whole process can feel like this long, anxious wait, right? Well, today, we're going to cut through all the noise and focus on 3 real, concrete things you can actually control to make your application way stronger. Let's dive in.
Yeah, that feeling, that uncertainty, it's totally normal when the stakes are this high. But here's the thing, what feels like just a waiting game is actually a process that you can directly influence. And that's really the big question we're tackling, isn't it? Is this just a roll of the dice, some game of chance? Or can you actively shift the odds in your favor? The answer is absolutely yes, and I'm going to show you how.
Okay, first things first. Let's get a real handle on the actual odds. We're going to ignore all that online chatter and look at the real data to see what our starting point is.
Seriously, forget what you've heard on forums or maybe what a friend of a friend said. Let's just ground ourselves in the most recent national numbers that are out there.
So, check out the numbers. Recent public data puts the J-1 denial rate at only about 8 to 11%. Think about that. It means the vast majority, we're talking around 90%, of applications get approved. This number isn't your destiny, it's just our baseline.
All right, now for my favorite part. Let's bust one of the biggest, most stressful myths in the entire J-1 process.
You've probably heard this one, right? Oh, getting a visa for a program in New York is way harder. Or, don't even try for California, their approval rate is super low. Let me be crystal clear. This is just not true. Your J-1 visa decision is made at the U.S. consulate in your home country. It has nothing to do with the U.S. state you're headed to.
So here's the deal. You need to focus your energy on what actually moves the needle. That means knowing the specific rules for your consular post, making sure your story is perfectly consistent across every single document, having rock-solid proof of your ties and funding, and, of course, being prepared for that interview.
And that brings us to the most powerful part of this whole thing. Let's talk about the 3 levers you, yes you, can pull to make your case so much stronger.
It's time to shift from just passively worrying to actively preparing. Let's completely forget about the things we can't control, like, which officer we get, and focus 100% on the things we can.
And here they are. Lever number 1 is ties. This is about having concrete proof, like a job contract or a property lease, that shows you have every reason to come back home. Second is funding. This means official, documented financial support, not just a promise from someone or a quick screenshot. And third, clarity. You got to make sure your reason for the visit is simple, consistent, and matches up perfectly across all your forms.
And this visualizes the impact perfectly. You start with those baseline odds we talked about, but as you start methodically strengthening your ties, your funding, and your clarity, boom, you can literally see how your personal odds improve. This isn't about luck. It's just the result of focused, smart preparation.
Okay, let's clear something up that causes a ton of confusion. Seriously, this is a mix-up you do not want to make. We need to talk about the difference between your immigration paperwork and your tax paperwork.
You might have come across something called an ITIN. That's an individual taxpayer identification number. It has one job and one job only: to help you file U.S. taxes if you're getting a scholarship or stipend. That's it. It has zero, and I mean absolutely zero, to do with your immigration status. Think of it like this. Your J-1 visa is in the immigration lane. That's where they look at your ties, your funding, your intent to go home. The I-10? It's way over in the completely separate tax lane. It's just a tool for dealing with the IRS. Bringing your tax stuff to your visa interview is like trying to drive through a concrete wall to change lanes. It just doesn't work.
And this real-life story says it all. A violinist, super proud, presents her ITIN paperwork at the interview window. The officer's response was polite but blunt. Good for taxes. Now tell me about your ties. The message couldn't be clearer. They are 2 totally separate worlds.
All right, we've covered the basics, we've busted some myths, and we've got our 3 key levers. So now, let's build a real, practical action plan you can start on, like today.
Here's how you can make a huge difference in just the next 72 hours. Number 1, match everything. I'm talking names, dates, dollar amounts. Make sure they are identical on every form. 2, ditch the screenshots. Go get original, signed letters from your bank and sponsors on official letterhead. 3, rehearse 3 answers until they're second nature. Why are you going now? Who is paying for this? And what will you do when you return? And 4, get your proof of ties, your job contract, your apartment lease, and organize them in a simple, clean pile.
And here are a few quick, high-impact tips based on where you're applying from. For applicants in India, instead of generic bank statements, get an official bank letter and make sure it's recent.
For applicants in Nigeria, triple-check that the sponsor's name and the funding amounts on your DS-160 match your other letters perfectly. And for applicants in China, avoid getting too technical. Just draft a simple, clear, two-sentence statement about your purpose.
So instead of getting overwhelmed by this whole big process, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What is the single document you will make stronger today? Because taking small, concrete actions will always beat just worrying about it. You've got this.